You can make a train joke in there.
Are you talking about it?
Run train.
Run a train on a child.
Guys, I just bring up the 2-year-old boy.
We're your hosts, Tara, Nora, and Allie, and you're listening to Bad Advice Only.
We're just 3 New York City rats talking about scurrying around the Big Apple. Here, we make the New York City mistakes so you don't have to.
We're begging you. Leave us a review and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Bad Advice Only NYC. We release new episodes every Monday, so stay tuned, rats.
When we were at a bar the other night, you guys know this because you were there. It's for our fans.
Oh.
This motherfucking weirdo told us that he was in love with a girl he's never been on a date with, and then he showed us how he ran her name into his running app, like by the city blocks. He wrote Natalie, which is not a short name.
No, not a short
And then posted it on his Instagram story.
Wait, I didn't know he posted it on the story. This guy?
Yes.
Okay, guys, listeners. We re-rate men on this show. This man was a dog. This guy was heinous.
He wasn't the most handsome man I've seen.
But his
He
personality
was,
made him
though,
worse.
The ugliest man I've seen.
No, that's a great description.
But yeah, he wrote Natalie in his run.
And 2 out of 3 rats did not like that.
Which rat liked it?
Me.
You liked it?
I was like, oh, that's adorable.
That's creepy.
Did you really?
Write my name.
They're not
in.
dating. They're not dating.
Okay, so back up. We did not know that they weren't dating when this news came to us. We were like, oh my God,
knew.
that's so sweet. You love her. And then the story came out that was like, she doesn't even live in New York.
We're not even dating.
She's just dating, and she didn't respond to his text for a full day, and that's their typical
That's
response
fair.
rate.
That's so
The
embarrassing.
thing that set me off was that he was like, I would marry her tomorrow. And he was so certain with us, which is like,
Yeah.
by the way, men, PSA, like, don't do that. Don't tell 3 girls that are hitting on you.
I wasn't
In a
hitting
group
on him.
of 3
No one
men.
was
No
hitting
one was
on-
hitting
No,
on
I was
him.
hitting on his friend. But,
Yes.
like, there were 3 guys in that group. There were 3 of us. They didn't know what our situations were, and every single one of those men told us they were in love with another girl.
That's
and then,
so true.
And then
Fully
made us
true.
look at the messages or pictures of said girl. So stop doing that, first of all. But second of all, I had trust nothing out of that man's mouth because he was like, oh, I'm so in love with Natalie. And then 2 minutes later was like trying to get Nora's pants on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he made a comment about getting my pants off, and I said, I have a boyfriend. And then he didn't believe me. Like, I had to, like, thoroughly convince him, which
it
is
was
weird. Why would I?
Extra weird when, this happens all the time at the bars when guys are hitting on you and maybe you're not interested and you say, oh, I have a boyfriend. They don't believe you. But these men made it abundantly clear that they were not interested in us rats.
Yeah.
And then
And then when they found out I had a boyfriend,
They're like,
they were
"No."
like, no
They were
way.
so interested.
You
They were
were the
also so persistent. Like, we all walked away from
were
them.
really
And then they were
persistent.
like, where'd you guys go? And we were like, did you not get the social cue?
Yeah, none of us were interested in each other.
Yeah, no one was interested in anyone. So what was happening?
Here's what was happening. Girls, ladies, friends.
Lovers.
We're interesting and hilarious. We were cracking such good jokes. We were on our A game Saturday. Bless you, girlfriend. She just sneezed. We were on our fucking A game. We made a joke about Nora stuffing Thanksgiving stuffing in her vagina.
Yeah, why did
and
we
those
say
guys
that?
thought it was fantastic. But basically, we were super entertaining. Everyone else there was a flop, super boring, and so they just kept wanting more entertainment.
But they looked at our faces and they were like, I can look past it if they keep making
if
these
they
jokes.
keep this tap dance up, maybe we can just put a bag over these rats' faces.
Throw a bag
I
over it.
disengaged from the conversation about 5 minutes in and then texted our friend to come meet us at the bar.
Yeah, you texted that friend a solid 3 hours too late to invite them out.
He still came.
That's
He did,
true.
but we were
by the time he got
under the
there, we were
influence.
absolutely smashed. It was
Well,
pointless for him to show up.
You want to know why
Poor
I
guy.
invited him out was
Thankfully,
because
he fed us.
he replied. loved that. But he replied to my Instagram story, and then I was like kind of drunk, and then I was like, oh shoot, we should have invited him out. But to be fair, we weren't like going out with friends. Like that wasn't like the intention of the day.
We were not going out with friends, and that was not the intention of the day. The intention of the day was
To work.
To work.
On this podcast.
On the podcast.
And so none of that happened, and that's why he was the 3-hour late invite. But we invited him to all of our future plans. I invited him to dinner this Friday and Lake Week.
And a couple weddings.
And weddings, in which case he said no. So listeners, I'm still single and still need a +1 Labor Day weekend. I do have 3 pending invitations out, including one woman.
So you can't be prideful.
waiting.
You're starting a wait list of
Yes,
dates?
because nobody can be trusted.
Person
So
in your
please,
life.
please take me to a wedding.
What's our episode?
So I want to ask you all what it's like to deal with a stalker in New York City.
Yeah.
You seem to be asking us, yet you know
You're the only one
that
with
you're the only one with experience with a stalker.
Well, I wanna ultimately get to the end of this and get your takes on if having a stalker in New York City really makes you want to live in New York still.
I think everyone should want a stalker.
Yeah, I mean, if we had a stalker, that means we made it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't made it, and I had one.
Your nudes have.
So, back on the nude game after a solid 5 years off. Remind me to show you guys later. I got a new angle.
Oh my God, a new
Sorry,
angle.
Dad.
2024, Allie's new angle.
She's back. Doesn't have a Snapchat. How's she taking them? You don't know. Okay, so what classifies as stalking? Do any of you actually know the definition of stalking? Because I had to look it up.
So we're talking about real life, like illegal stalking, not being someone who enjoys looking at Instagram.
Well, girlfriend's got an opinion on
Girlfriend's
this.
my stalker. She won't leave me the fuck alone.
So there's different types of stalking, but like,
Oh.
so yes, we are talking about both of those. But like, what's the actual definition of stalking? It's
Well, am I going to guess?
yeah, go for it.
I'd like to guess. Stalking. When you're unwantedly in someone's presence repeatedly. Is that the definition?
It is not.
I don't know what to do with this monster.
Be a professional.
Kicker.
Anyways,
The Webster Dictionary is contact or any other course of conduct directed at a specific person that would cause a reasonable person to feel fear. Who knew?
That was hard to listen to. I'm not going to lie.
I kind of tuned it out.
The second someone said Merriam-Webster,
It wasn't really Merriam-Webster. It was just the internet.
what did it say?
It's basically like anytime that you're near a person that would cause them to feel fearful.
Oh, well, I feel fearful of a lot of people
Right.
on the day-to-day.
Yeah, you're fearful of bananas. Like, is that a stalker?
I'm not fearful of bananas, for the record. I just don't like them.
So you're confirming you're not allergic. You just don't like
I
them.
am also...
That's all I've been wanting to get out of her for years.
She's a fraud.
I can be two of these things, allergic and disliking of bananas now. Stalking just means you have someone around you that you're scared of.
Yeah. That's what it says.
I don't think you Googled this very well.
But so then I was like, what's the difference between that and harassment? Because that to me is synonymous.
Were you stalked or harassed?
Well, that's what I don't know. 'Cause when I went to the police, we'll get into the story, but when I went to the police station, I filed harassment charges.
This whole time you've been telling us you had a stalker.
But he
Yeah.
stalked me. But like the only way I could charge him
You can't charge someone with stalking yourself?
was
You gotta-
harassing.
You got to start with harassment, and
Like-
then it turns into.
All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I
Yeah,
have a whole
you
outline.
guys are spoiling. Allie was
Okay.
stalked.
Rats
So-
gonna put on their lawyer hats again.
So we're going to put on our little lawyer caps. But harassment includes conduct that's just inconvenient or annoys a person. Which
I think you
is
were
kinda funny.
stalked based on
I-
those definitions.
Same. And then there's different kinds of stalking. So obsession stalking is the most common, and that can also be inclusive of like online. So it's basically just like whenever you're like so obsessed with something and you know like every detail. Some might say I obsessively stalked my ex.
Which ex?
Rave Daddy.
Probably, I would say.
Are you still actively
No,
stalking?
You
But,
moved
like, for a
across the street
while.
from him.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
mean-
pretty stalkery.
You tell me.
Ooh.
Okay. Anyway, I did try to Google funny facts about stalking, but there weren't any on the internet. And then I felt like, how long can I keep typing in things about
Right.
stalking on the internet without getting flagged?
Do you worry before you get into your stalking story that you might be considered a stalker?
I think about this all the time because, so I looked into how many stalkings have happened in 2024.
In the U.S. or like
No, just in New York.
Oh, okay.
But I don't, this has to be the U.S. because this is crazy.
Oh my God, how many?
And then it couldn't just give me 2024. I had to get like a 2023.
You couldn't slice the data like
I
that?
couldn't slice the data, not without like going too deep into the courts. But during a 12-month period, an estimated 3.4 million persons ages 18 or older were victims of stalking.
Let's think. If that's New York, which I don't think it can be,
I
because
think
that
it
would
has
be
to
like
be all of the U.S.,
that's like
right?
a third of New York, right? So I don't know. Someone
Could
fact
be.
check us, not us.
But it just made me kind of think like I'm not unique.
You're
Yeah,
definitely
not
not special.
Made me sad.
You're not special for being stalked, and you're not more interesting for being stalked.
Right. So like, what do I have? What else is there?
You know,
Tits.
Like
you
these-
being stalked one time is like the 50th most interesting thing about you, I'd say.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, what about your tap dancing skills?
Thanks, guys. You know, somebody asked me to use my tap dance skills in an interview one time. They said, get up and do a tap dance.
They just wanted to see those titties
100%. Yeah,
They
he was
were-
like this old 45-year-old male, and I got the job. So
old 45-year-old man.
That's
at the time, I was like 20.
speaking
Fine, I'll
of
give-
harassment.
Yeah. Okay, back to stalking though. So, how would you do it if you were a stalker? That's
Ooh,
what I
fun.
want to know.
I would move across the street from my ex-boyfriend.
That's really interesting.
Let's put together
Take.
let's put together this case study. Okay, is it an ex that I'm stalking? Who am I stalking?
Okay, so you have an ex. You're in New York City. How do you go about stalking them? Where do you start?
I guess
get
some
in the
people
mind of a
use like
stalker.
Instagram. I don't really do the gram.
Yeah,
You
this would be really hard for us.
LinkedIn?
I think
Definitely would start with LinkedIn.
I would just like do with what they do in the movies and like sit across the street from where they
Oh,
live.
you
from where
do
they
the
live.
waiting game.
I would do the waiting game, just kind of like get an understanding of their schedule, like subway lines that they take, like, and then I would take note of like what areas I could like kidnap them in.
Well, if you already knew this person like an ex, you should already kind of know their routine and schedule. So I would probably start with fake accounts, like an Instagram,
That's a good
TikTok, LinkedIn.
Pretend to be a hot girl.
Definitely get
Or
a
a little
hotter
boy, just in case you had any kind of doubts.
Oh, talk about y'all. You know how? No.
I've got some. I have something to say too here.
You guys know how like girls will like be like, oh, I'll message your boyfriend and like loyalty check him.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hole in the market for a little boy to do the same.
The FBI legit does this for a
Oh,
living.
right.
What should we call it? What should we call the app?
Little boy test.
Tindy.
Oh, tender age.
Tinder
Tinder
age.
age. Good one.
Thank you.
Tinder age.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we have trademarked that Tinder age.
Coming to you this fall.
Coming to you soon.
5-year-olds plus.
Ooh.
5-year-olds minus.
Oh wait, yeah. 5-year-olds minus.
Okay.
Sick. Oh, why do we always get on pedophilia? Okay, yeah, I would definitely do fake accounts, but I'd probably use like a chat GPT or Bard/Gemini to talk to the guy because I know I don't have much game like messaging on the apps.
But you'd be a hot girl in this scenario.
right.
Or a child boy.
But you could ask them to
Right.
be like, hey, make me sound hot.
yeah, make me cool and hot. Here's my brand and my personality.
I'm a
and then
19-year-old valley girl.
I'm a
19.
2-year-old boy.
2. Jesus.
I'm a 2-year-old boy. I love blocks and Star Wars. What
Sounds
do 2-year-olds
hot.
like?
Breast milk.
Breast milk.
Trains.
Oh, they love trains.
These fucking freaks.
You could make a train joke in there.
Are you talking about it?
Run train.
On
Run a train on a
children?
child.
Guys, I didn't bring up the 2-year-old boy. Go on.
Well, okay, it's spiraling a little bit, but I think there's something here. Anyways.
Allie, I think you have a good idea for why you've asked this question for a reason. How do you want to stalk?
No, I was just curious. I mean, I told you how I would do it already. I would like run like through what they do on a day to day. Like in New York City,
Would you break into their home?
Good idea.
Well, actually, I guess we can just jump there now. That's the only reason I had Nora listed as a stalker.
Oh, I broke into someone's home?
Yeah, I remember we were really drunk on the Upper East Side one night, and I left Nora. This is when Nora broke into, let's call him Chessmonger's apartment.
Chessmongers?
Yeah, he's a chessmonger.
Harry.
Like he's
No,
just
chess.
he loves chess.
The game.
He would play chess. He would play chess all the time. Like Nora one time sent me a nude of just one tit fully out on the couch while he was playing chess.
He loved
Was
chess.
he didn't even
ignoring
look.
the boob?
Uh-huh.
Yes. He was also Harry separately, but yes,
So
he loved
chestmonger.
chest, whatever.
Whatever you feel like. He fits both. But Nora and I were so drunk and we were on the Upper East Side, and I remember leaving her, and I'll upload this photo at a different time, but we got into two cabs like parallel to one another. And I just remember looking out the window, and Nora's one hand, like the Titanic, is like sliding down, but she's like face deep into a burger, and it's just like all over the place, and she looks so happy, and that's the last I saw her for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And then I get this like panicked text message the next day being like, I broke into Chessmonger's house. And I'm like, literally how? Like they had no plans on hanging out. Like you just showed up unannounced, broke into the house, like buzzed a different apartment, got in, like tried to break and enter into the wrong apartment, I think, right?
Yeah. So what happened?
Yeah,
and
let's get the real story from this fucking freak.
It's quite embarrassing in retrospect, but I had no shame. I was young. And this guy, we were like kind of seeing each other, but we weren't dating or anything. We'd maybe gone out 4 times. And he knew I was going out that night in Upper East, and he was like, I'm going to bed early, like, let's not hang out. I'm going to call it an early night. He essentially was like, do not come over. And so I got really drunk, and I went straight to his place after my night out.
Obviously.
But he was asleep, like
Wink,
he
wink.
said. No, he really was asleep.
He wasn't?
He wasn't lying. He was asleep because I started buzzing. He's not letting me in. I don't know what's going on. Finally, somebody lets me in. That was not him. I go up to his floor and I start banging on the door. And I'm like banging for like 30 minutes. Like I swear I was out there so long because I was so drunk. I was like sometimes sitting, sometimes standing, like knock, knock, knock.
You are a stalker.
And then at some point I just like came to out of my like brownout and I was like, this doesn't look right. And I was on the wrong floor. I was
Is it
just
a doorman building?
no. And so I
Like
went.
it's impressive that she got it.
Okay, so then I went to the right floor and I knocked and he woke up and let me in. So I come in, we go to bed, yada yada. The next day,
Yada yada.
the next day,
That means penetration.
the next day, he's like, yeah, I could not sleep at all last night. I could not stop hearing this banging upstairs for like 30 minutes. And I'm like, no way. I think I heard that too. Like, that's crazy.
Crazy. The only question I have for you is, why did you go to his actual
know.
apartment after you realized you were in the wrong place?
Yeah, I should have just left. I should have just cut my
called
losses
it a
and just
big
left.
fat L.
Yeah.
You scurried your little hussy ass out.
Nora left a credit card at a bar that night and canceled it because she didn't want to go back in. That's the kind of drunk she was.
That's the kind of drunk
You do that every week.
I couldn't comprehend the idea of going back to the bar, so I canceled it.
So that's the only way I thought about you stalking.
Yeah.
That's full blown stalker.
Yeah,
Crazy
no, that's
girl.
stalkery. But we didn't ever date. Like, he's
Dead to us
He's
now.
dead. Like, gone. Not a thing.
Because he's a
Ugh.
chestmonger.
There were so many things wrong with him.
He made me steal a pack of gum one time because we ran into him at a Walgreens and we weren't prepared. But I'd already had opened the gum and put a piece in my mouth because I was planning on paying. And then Nora's like, we must leave. And I was like, what do I do with the gum? So I just took it.
So Nora made you.
He was the last in the line at the CVS. Like, we were going to have to stand with him in line and some girl he was with. So Allie could
there
pay
was
for this
a
gum.
girl involved.
Wanted the gum.
I was like, take the gum. Like,
I took the gum.
CVS CEO would understand. That was very.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Whoever it is, hit me up.
Mark.
Mark. He's definitely a Mark.
Nora can afford
Whipping.
the gum now. She'll gladly
I'll pay back the gum
pay back.
tenfold.
Tenfold.
Tenfold. What's that, like $10?
I'm sorry
I don't know what tenfold
to
really
the
means.
CVS CEO, Karen,
Oh, it's Karen.
Karen.
We're such shitheads. Sorry, Karen.
leading more than 300,000 colleagues who are passionate about building a world of health.
Oh, fuck. I feel bad now that it's Karen.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we gotta think
Karen.
it was a Walgreens. Let's.
Yeah, find the one that's
Get the
Dave or
story
whatever.
right.
Tim Wentworth.
Tim.
We knew
It
it.
was definitely
We
Tim.
fucking knew it.
Fuck you,
I knew it was
Tim.
like a
I'd
Wentworth.
do it again.
This guy looks like a real dick mixed with Steve Carell.
All right, I'm glad we stole the gum. I wasn't a part of the story.
Same.
but-
I'll go into my stalking, but now that you say it, I do think maybe it was more of harassment because, like, I don't know. You tell me.
With the guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I
let
don't-
me set the scene for
Yes,
the listener.
let's
This
do
is
it.
a few years ago, maybe like 6 or 7 at this point.
Easy, yeah.
And Allie is stalked.
Stalketh.
Your turn.
That was the scene setting?
Yeah, I thought I'd set the scene.
That was a
pretty good.
great scene setting.
What year did you say it was?
Maybe like
was like
2017 or
Okay,
something.
I'm gonna
Yeah, it
try.
was
16.
2017.
A young Allie, 2017, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Wait, I was gonna say that. We're right there. Go on.
All right.
Downloads a dating app.
Oh, is that
better.
how it goes? I actually don't remember totally where you found this freak.
That's
so
funny because you're the one that helped me gather all his evidence. We didn't work together anymore, so you were already working at a new company.
Yeah.
And I was still at our old company. And yeah, I'd met this guy on a dating app, and he
Which
was
one?
like, I don't remember.
Shout out.
Bumble,
Bumble.
maybe?
Bumble, you guys cause stalkers. Who's the CEO?
Oh, it
Pull
was
them
Bumble
out.
because I reported it.
It's a woman again, I think.
Ooh, maybe
It's
women
happening.
just don't make good companies, guys.
Company leader. Did you report him on the app?
Oh, yeah. I had to. I had to block him on everything. So, okay. So we start talking, and he's like, says he lives in Astoria, like really close to me. I obviously didn't give him my address, but like Astoria is not that big. It's like one strip.
Yeah.
And you know where everybody lives.
Astoria's in Queens for my tourist queens.
And he was like really, really persistent on getting coffee, and I'm notorious for not going on any dates that I set.
Yep.
And I remember being like, yeah, we could do a coffee date on like Wednesday after I like get out of jiu-jitsu. I was training Brazilian jiu-jitsu at the time. Shout out to my gi in episode 1. Miss you. And then like Wednesday or Tuesday comes around, and I'm like, I actually canceled. And I was like, hey, like I'm not gonna be able to meet up for coffee. Like, sorry. And then he starts getting like really aggressive, but like we had been sexting, call it what you may, ahead of time. And
Before that first
yeah, and then
coffee
but
date?
then like then he started getting like really angry when I was like, I'm not gonna go out for coffee, and he was like, fuck you, like what are you talking about?
Ooh.
Like I don't like, you're not gonna like me when I'm angry, like
Ooh.
all this stuff. And I was like, okay. So then I blocked him because I was like, this is weird.
Good.
And then it was like, I remember 7 a.m. and I was on a like Skype call or Zoom or some shit with like Europe. And I remember like for work just being up so early, and I start getting these text messages from like a weird number, and it was like, did you block my number? And I'm like, what the hell? So then I remember like him sending then a video of him, or like, I don't know if it was him having sex with a girl,
Oh.
but it was somebody having sex with a girl.
Oh, did it
And
look like she knew it was being filmed?
no,
Oh
it was
my
like
god.
from behind. Like this girl had no idea, and he's like,
no.
you were not gonna like me when I'm angry. Like you better meet up with me. So I blocked that number. Then he messages me from a third number.
Oh.
And he's like,
my god.
you're really like, I'm gonna find you. Like you're gonna pay. Like the only way that I'm gonna stop this is if like you meet me tonight and like have sex with me. Like all this really aggressive stuff. And then he was like
Ew.
photoshopping stuff and being like, I'm gonna ruin your life. Like I'm gonna go to your employer and tell them you were like sexting me at work. And like I'm like a 20-year-old kid, and I'm like, holy shit, like this guy's gonna ruin my life. Like my boss at the time would not have cared like if I was sexting anybody.
Like, Sam.
No, it was he, and he was like the chillest guy. Like I remember being like, I have to go to the police station, like literally in the middle of the workday, because I called Nora freaking out. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, here's the guy. We took a screenshot of his like Instagram, his like everything that I had on him, like Bumble ID and everything, because he found me on Instagram, and then I changed my Instagram name, and he found me again
my
and screenshotted
God.
my Instagram, like my new name, and that's why I don't have any names, and it's just numbers
I
on my Instagram
literally
profile.
forgot, but to this day, Allie doesn't have her name on Instagram, and it's just numbers. It's very shady. But backing
Try
up
to
real
find
quick
her. You can't.
to
You can't.
the Photoshop part. Didn't he already have nudes?
I think he had like 1 or 2, but it wasn't of my face.
He was trying to Photoshop
So
your
he was trying to like
face.
Photoshop like from my app. And I was like, what the hell? And then, like, you and I did some digging because you're basically an investigator for...
That's right,
for your life.
You hear
and
that?
she found, like, all of his details on Facebook, like, basically up to, like, his address and sent it to me. And, like,
You should have sent a
I sent
fucking
all the
bomb.
screenshots to Nora of, like, the conversations that were had because I was like, I obviously want to delete all of this off my phone, but, like, I want somebody to have it. And then I had to go to the police station in the middle of the day. And then the cop was, like, judging me.
Did they
for
victim blame you?
sexting him? Yeah. And then but, like, he was so nice. He was like, take my personal number. Because I was more concerned, like, I don't really know this guy. Like, I've never met him. Like, what if he's on the train?
You don't even
when
know.
I am. Yeah, and for like a year, whenever I would get like text messages from a random number, I would freak out. Like, I'd be like, holy shit, he's back. I don't remember anything about him now, but I was like, thank God I was at training jujitsu because I was like on a schedule call with my boss and my parents for like when I would get to the office, leave the office, get to the gym, and then go home so that people like knew that I wasn't. It was like so ridiculous. Like, we didn't need this much security for little old me, but at least I was like, my mom's like, you shouldn't go train Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, if there's anywhere I want to be, it's in a room full of people who can like literally put you to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For fun.
I would
What
love
if he
for
was
me-
one of them?
That would have been really dramatic.
Battle in the jiu-jitsu.
I would have had sex with him right there.
Yeah,
and
you
then-
would,
I'm
I
just
guess
kidding.
you would have just had to do it.
I would have just had to do it.
You just would have had to do it. Yeah.
Are we done
But,
yet?
you know, he definitely does that. Like, that's definitely, like, a pattern. And you know that it's worked before. And he, like, has, like, he, like, goes after, like, impressionable, probably young girls who, like, are going to be like, oh, my God, this is actually going to fuck
Yep.
up my life.
Yeah, because when I told him I went to the cops, he was like, no, you didn't. I'm like, no, literally, like, this is my last warning. Like, if you do it again, like, I will file, like, a serious
What a
complaint against
crazy
harassment. And then he was
person.
like, fuck you, you're ugly, like, all this shit. And I was like, okay.
I love when people say that. That's my favorite
It's
response.
so
my
good.
favorite fucking response is to rejection is, well, you're fucking fat or ugly, which I've heard multiple
so many
times. And I'm like,
or you're a bitch.
well, you
okay?
wanted to sleep with me, so
Wanted this piece of ass.
I don't
a
know why you
second
want this
ago.
ugly ass bitch.
I love it. I love
Good
it when they tell me
uggo.
I'm ugly.
Lego my uggo. Anyway, so that's my story. But yeah, maybe it was more harassment because, like, who knows if he actually stalked me.
Yeah, I think he just has a little system, and this works like 1 in like 50 times.
And it
That
worked.
some poor girl is like, oh my God, my life's ruined. I should just do it. Just like sleep with him and then it'll go away.
Totally.
So
I mean,
messed
look
up.
at every woman that slept with. Who was that director?
Harvey Weinstein?
Yeah.
I think he was just raping him.
Oh. Mm.
Trigger
I thought
warning.
he was like telling them.
Yeah, he was
you
like
can have
grooming
the
him. He
part
was
if-
like, you can have the part if you suck a
yeah,
little.
it's that same like bullshit idea that the patriarchy's in charge and the only thing we can do is have sex with them.
Yet
so
no
that-
one comes after Pornhub for having that as a category.
Well,
What's the
Pornhub has
category?
way worse things than that.
But that
What's grooming? Is grooming
no,
the
it's not
category?
grooming. It's like
Blackmail.
kinda. It's like
I kinda like those.
acting like for the part or something. I don't know what the
Oh, I've
category
seen
is.
those.
Oh yeah,
you know
like
what I'm talking about.
No,
getting
Yeah,
the part.
I
casting, I
definitely
think,
like
is the
those.
category.
In a fantasy sense, those are appealing to me. In a reality sense,
But in
that's
like a Harvey
fucked.
Weinstein.
Yeah, like that's super creepy and
Giving a
fucked
bad
up.
name to Jews. Everywhere.
Is he Jewish?
I mean, with a name like Weinstein.
Well, now that we have talked a little bit about stalking, I wonder, guys, do you think Old Balls is stalking me?
No.
He is Jewish, by the way, Harvey Weinstein.
Thank you for the fact check.
You are welcome.
Wow, we're really growing in our podcasting.
Yeah.
We fact check now.
Yeah, we fact
One
check
time.
now. We're journalists.
Oh my God, we're
Investigative
journalists.
What about Old Balls?
Do you think Old Balls is stalking me? He looks at every single one of my stories that I post, and I don't post often.
I think Old
I think
Balls
he just
is a
is
sad
a
old
sad old man.
man.
Can we
And I
talk
think
shit
you're
on
his one,
Old Balls?
one
Is that a
Instagram
segment?
follower.
Oh, you know what? This was, so Nora knows this. I don't think you do. When I first started dating Old Balls, she was like, let me see pictures. So we were friends on Instagram, and so I showed it to her. And I was like, oh, I always forget that you can look at tagged photos of people. So I go to click on his tagged photos, empty.
I don't like that. That's a sign to me.
That's a creepy. That's
stalker.
Really
creepy.
weird.
To be fair, he's like 60, so
Oh, we're doubling his
we're rounding up.
To be fair, I think the last I heard he was dead.
Was he not 57? How old was he?
48.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Old Balls is stalking me, or more reasonably, he doesn't know how to use Instagram and goes through every single person's story until he runs out. because he doesn't know how to exit them.
I think he watches your stories purposely.
Because I've been throwing up some pretty hot photos lately.
Yeah, I'm
Have
surprised you
you?
didn't react to the date content.
Do you want to announce your Instagram on this platform? See if you get any fun followers?
Sure. You think I should do it?
Yeah, why
I
not?
don't remember my handle exactly. I think it's
NYC Street Rat.
No, it's not.
It's
an
NYC
underscore.
Street Rat.
NYC_Street Rat, because Tara is a rat spelled backwards.
Woo. She tells guys that at bars, just so
I
y'all
told a
know.
lot of guys that on Saturday.
And-
No one liked it.
Well, I wanted to talk about the differences of being stalked in New York City versus like a suburb.
Ooh, that's so good. I wanted to talk about that, but I didn't know if we were getting to it.
Yeah. I just feel like it's got to be way harder to determine. Like, if you had, like, an actual stalker in New York, like, I would not know.
Exactly. It's so much scarier in New York because, I mean, they could be anywhere at any time, watching you out of any window, any
Right.
store.
There's so many fucking people
constantly.
around.
Yeah. I would not notice if someone was following me in this shithole.
I feel like people get stalked every day. So
But yeah, we don't even know
I obviously moved out of the city
because you were stalked.
because I was stalked. It has to be. That's the reason.
That can't be the reason.
That's the new narrative.
Right. I'm
Well-
not too concerned about being stalked. If
So you're
that's-
fine staying in
I'm
New York.
fine.
Like, you feel like you're better off getting stalked here than the suburbs. I feel like it's your destiny, Tara. Like, you want to be stalked. Like, it's like a hot fantasy for you or some shit.
I've never thought about it.
Like, you were kind of stalked by that garbage guy.
Oh my god.
Oh
she
yeah, the
was
one with
stalked.
beet juice coming down his face or whatever I said.
Yeah.
For the listener,
Still see
it was
him.
the guy that was it How to Get Scammed? I don't know. It's in one of our previous episodes. Be a real listener and listen to them all. But yeah, he and I make very awkward eye contact now daily.
Excellent.
But you like this has not
didn't
phased you.
enjoy
Like, it
it.
doesn't phase her though. Like, you would still live in New York. Like, you're gonna die here.
Yeah, I mean, a stalker's not going to get me out of my city. If I were in like a tiny town,
You
I would
can't-
just kill him.
All right.
You can't let the terrorists win.
Yeah, you can't let the terrorists win.
You
now,
did.
Al, during your research,
No, we're rapping.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. I guess
No safety tips. No what.
no safety tips. Know what to do. You're on your own. It sounds like it doesn't really matter.
Move to New York.
Move to New York and be stalked. All right, that's all we have for you today, rats. Stay tuned. As always, thanks for listening. If you're interested in even more bad advice, scurry on over to Instagram and TikTok at Bad Advice Only NYC. We're begging you. Download and rate the show and leave us a review. Talk to you next Monday. Stay tuned, rats.